just suddenly realized I buried them. There we go.
Buried the lead, huh?
Okay, yeah. All set.
Okay. Are you ready? Good. The Shigella bacteria, well, maybe I'm not ready. The Shigella bacteria contain the R type of these, while the F type facilitates conjugation. When used in the laboratory, they're often engineered to have a polylinker sequence. Name the short segments of DNA that exist outside of the bacterial chromosome.
Telepathy.
Exons? Exons?
No, I'm sorry, no. Can you take it to Cooperstown? We'll call time. The answer is plasmids. We wouldn't accept it episomes. In English, it's called a diaeresis. In the Guitar Hero game, it's the last name of one of the characters. In German, what's the name of the mark of punctuation that denotes a removal of an E from the spelling?
Tom.
An umlaut?
Umlaut is correct. He served as an economic advisor to President Reagan from 1981 to 1989. Who is this economist whose eponymous curve attempts to determine what tax rate between 0 and 100% will result in maximum government?
Soul curve?
I'm sorry, no. It will result in maximum government revenues, yes.
Yeah.
No, it is the Laffer curve, named for Art Laffer. The Trojan types of these do not collide with larger celestial bodies because they're found orbiting.
Asteroids.
Ryan.
Asteroids?
Asteroids is correct. If you were to remove all the jacks, queens, kings, and aces from a standard deck of 52 playing cards and then shuffle, what is the probability that the top card of the new deck would be a heart? You have 10 seconds. Yes?
Boba Fett.
Yes, it would be the exact same because you haven't done anything about the ratio of the suits. He had never learned a thing in his 18 years. His mind was a blank slate, ready to be written on by anyone who could figure out how to do it. That second sentence is an example of what figure of speech? Metaphor is correct. 20 years after, and the Viscount of Bragelonne were sequels to the original published in 1844, and all three followed his life story. Who was this character created by Alexandre Dumas, who became one of the king's musketeers?
Adam.
D'Artagnan?
D'Artagnan is correct. His cousin was a fiery leader in the struggle of the American colonies to gain independence from Great Britain. He himself was more measured, but no less ardent, as seen in his correspondence with his wife, Abigail.
John
Ryan.
Adams.
John Adams is correct.
Way to be identified, guys, especially practicing for high school challenge.
Yeah, because in high school challenge, you're going to have
You
to win.
really have to there.
Okay. That brings us to the end of round one. Tina, what's our score? I'll play the first round.
Okay. 25 for Cooperstown and 5 for Cherry Valley Springfield.
They've done 30 of the possible 40 points in that first round. That means you have first bid in the answer auction, Cherry Valley Springfield. And here we go.
May we sub briefly?
Go ahead, sub.
Ted, why don't you come in for out?
Let's try not to knock each other over as we get there. Okay, the answer auction question is this. You can make up your minds while he's signing. 9 countries have shorelines on the Baltic Sea. How many of them can you name? You have first bid, Cherry Valley Springfield. They bid 1. Cooperstown, will you go 2?
We'll go 2.
We'll go 2. We go 3.
3.
We'll go 3. We go 4.
We'll go 4.
We'll go 4. We go 5.
We will not.
Excuse me?
We will not.
You will not. So give me 4, please, Cooperstown. There are 3 that are pretty much dead giveaways.
Yeah. So we'll have Finland,
1,
Estonia,
yes,
Latvia,
yes,
and Sweden.
yes. The others are Lithuania,
Isn't he talking?
Denmark, Finland, Germany, Poland, and Russia. So 40 points for Cooperstown. That makes our score what?
65 for Cooperstown and 5 for Cherry Valley Springs.
Okay, any changes that you're going to make, let's make them now. If we're not making any changes, then we move on and toss out some bonuses. Here we go. First bonus is in the category essays. Favorite? Toss up. For almost 4 centuries, this ruling house's 2 branches governed much of Europe. Their unbroken reign ended with Germany's defeat in World War I.
Years.
Habsburg.
I'm sorry, no. Cherry Valley Springfield, I'll finish it for you. Name the house that took its name from the family castle. The Hohenzollerns.
Oh,
No time for that essay's bonus. This toss up for 10. One of the stickers you see on car bumpers and windows says OBX. That's not the designation.
Cooperstown, Theodore.
Outer Bank.
That's what we were looking for,
Okay.
so we just to confuse you. We were going to say it was not the designation for a state or country. Well, for what 200-mile-long string of islands and peninsulas off the mainland of North Carolina? You got it way early. Essays, the category Cooperstown. Whose essay on the principle of population predicted that increasing population would result in lower wages for the poorer citizens? Captain?
Engels.
The answer is Malthus, Thomas Malthus. What American essayist's civil disobedience later influenced such world figures as Tolstoy, Gandhi, and Martin Luther King Jr.?
That'd be Thoreau.
That would be Thoreau. The English word essay comes from the French infinitive essayer, which means what?
To write.
No, it means to try or to attempt. And finally, what Frenchman, the first to describe his written down thoughts as essays, is considered the father of the essay?
Voltaire.
Michel de Montaigne.
5 bonus points.
Utah, the category for next bonus. Here's the toss-up, and it is a math toss-up. We won't need pencil and paper, but a regular one can be constructed by starting with 2 congruent circles with the center of one on the circumference of the other, then repeatedly drawing circles centered at the intersection points. Regular polygons of this type are the most perimeter-efficient way to tile the plane, and the circumradius of one of them equals the side length. The area of a regular one of what shape with side length x is 3/2 radical 3 x squared.
Riley.
Triangle.
Not a triangle, and you take it Cherry Valley Springfield. We'll call time. The answer is it's a hexagon. Despite the fact that a Democratic-dominated local administration in this city made the decision to take water from a local and polluted
Flint.
Flint is the city we're looking for, the Republican governor being claimed. That's great. Measured, I'm sorry, we're going to the bonus. The bonus is in the category Utah. What state forms all of Utah's northern border, Cooperstown?
Idaho.
Idaho is correct. More than 60% of Utah's residents are adherents of what religion?
That would be the Church of Latter-day Saints.
That's correct, or more. In what year of the 21st century were the Winter Olympic Games held in Utah?
1996.
It was 2002. Only 2 states have more national parks than Utah's 5. California is number 1 with 9. What state ranks second with 8?
Alaska.
Alaska's correct.
Okay, 15 bonus points.
The Punic War is the category of the next bonus. Here's the toss-up. Measured with the Zahn cup, this quantity is squared in the Grashof number. The Reynolds number is inversely proportionate to it, and it is constant for Newtonian fluids. What is this quantity whose kinetic type is equal to the dynamic type divided by the density?
CVS, Java.
Energy.
I'm sorry, no. You take it, Cooper.
Cooperstown, Riley.
Viscosity.
Viscosity is what we're looking for.
No.
Punic Wars. The series of wars between Rome and Carthage were called the Punic Wars because the Carthaginians were descendants of which seagoing Mediterraneans?
Phoenicians.
The Phoenicians is correct. The most well-known Carthaginian commander was what son of Hamilcar Barca, famous for marching over the Alps with battle elephants to attack Rome?
Hannibal.
Hannibal's correct. How many Punic Wars were fought?
3.
3 is correct. Cato the Elder ended many of his speeches in the Roman Senate with the words Carthago delenda est, which means what?
Carthage must be destroyed.
That is correct.
Beautiful. One.
Last bonus is in the category, let's make a deal. In the NFL playoffs this year, the number 1 and 2 seeds in each conference met in the conference finals. Denver was the number 1 seed in the AFC. Carolina was the NFC's number 1. I want you to name the 2 number 2 seeds.
Cooperstown, Pierce.
Patriots and the Cardinals.
That is correct. I couldn't remember that myself. Let's make a deal, the category of your bonus. There are 3 doors in front of you. Behind one is a new car. Behind the other 2 is a goat and a monkey. One has a goat, one has a monkey. You pick a door, and I open one of the other doors to reveal a goat. Got that? If you switch doors to the one I didn't open, what's the probability that you see the car?
2/3.
2/3 is correct. The probability is 2/3 because the final switching choice does not have this property relative to the original door selection. 2 events have this property if the outcome of one doesn't affect the probability of the other.
Independence?
Independence is correct. If you enter a lottery, you can calculate this quantity by multiplying the probability that you'll win by the amount of money in the pot. For $1 million jackpot that you win with probability 1 in 250 million, what quantity is only 0.25 cents?
Return on investment.
Can't accept that. Expected value is what Scott has here. EV, expectation, first moment, average value, mean, whole lots of possibles. In probability theory, an event is defined as a subset of this space. Name the space which consists of all possible outcomes. For flipping a coin twice, there are 4 entries for this space.
The possibility plane.
The answer is sample space.
10 bonus points.
And that brings us to the end of the round. Tina, what's our score?
I have Cooperstown 155, CVS 5.
It's close.
Okay.
It's close. How close to you being shut out?
Hey,
You're gonna be on fire here. I got a feeling. Okay.
I got the easy question.
That's true. Okay. We're changing a team member at Cooperstown. I will tell you now that the 4 categories in this round are brothers, aunt or aunt, depending on where you come from or how pretentious you are. A-U-N-T. Uncle. And it's all relative. I will explain it to you. Brothers is identify these brothers from their descriptions. Aunt is about people who are aunts. What can I say? Uncle is about people who are uncles or called uncle. It's all relative. I'm going to ask you to tell me what the relationship is, if any, if there is one, or was one, between each of these pairs of famous people? First choice is yours, Cherry Ice Cream.
Interesting categories.
Brothers, I guess.
Brothers. Are you ready? Oh, a broken pencil here.
Oh, dear, dreadful.
I'm so excited to be.
Yeah, she's.
Yeah, no, you do need it all. You need it.
Thank you.
Hey,
Okay, are you ready? I want you to identify these brothers from their description. Here we go. Wilhelm and Jacob adapted folklore into children's stories in the 19th century.
Brothers Grimm.
Brothers Grimm is correct. The nickname given to one-time Oakland A's sluggers Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire.
Hip Brothers now.
No. The twins known in Roman mythology as the Gemini.
Yeah, don't whisper. No answer.
fine.
Frank and Jesse led a gang of bank robbers in the mid-19th century.
James Brothers.
James Brothers is right. Harry, Albert, Sam, and Jack founded their media business in Burbank in 1923.
Wayman Brothers.
No. The first recorded murderer and his brother.
The Cain and Abel.
Cain and Abel is correct. They allegedly founded Rome.
Remus and Romulus.
That's correct. Physically dissimilar, he played Arnold Schwarzenegger's brother in the movie Twins.
Oh.
Fine.
Nelson and William tried to corner the market on silver in the 70s. Lamar founded the American Football League.
Oh my God. No answer.
Fine.
Dmitri, Ivan, and Alexei.
Romanov Brothers.
Fine.
Sorry, no.
Okay.
So I got 1, 2,
4.
3, 4.
Yep.
Chance to steal 60, Cooperstown. The nickname given to one-time Oakland A's sluggers Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire.
The Bat Bros.
They were called the Bash Brothers.
Oh.
The twins known in Roman mythology as the Gemini.
Castor and Peluche?
Just tell them what the answer is. Castor and Pollux.
Pollux. Wait, are they gonna accept that?
Yeah, I think we have to accept it.
Peluche. He said
Yeah.
Peluche.
It's
Physically
spelled,
dissimilar.
it's on this, it's spelled
I don't know how to spell it.
P-O-L-L-U,
Something.
S-H-E, Peluche.
There's not it's a
Somehow.
question mark, Alex, so that's a question.
He was right until he got to the X.
Yeah, right. Paula. Physically dissimilar, he
Oh,
played
you are
Arnold.
giving it to him?
No.
No. Okay.
Physically dissimilar, he played Arnold Schwarzenegger's brother in the movie Twins.
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
Couldn't think of his name.
Nelson and William tried to corner the market on silver in the 70s. Lamar founded the American Football League. They were the Hunt brothers, and Dmitri, Ivan, and Alexei.
Romanov.
The brothers Karamazov.
Hey, what's the draft for number 5?
Oh, Harry, Albert, Sam, and Jack founded their media business in Burbank in 1923.
Warner Brothers?
Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, you have a choice of aunt, uncle, and it's all relative, Cooperstown.
It's good, try Uncle.
Uncle. Say uncle. Are you ready? Here we go. Who murdered Hamlet's father?
Time?
His uncle.
Correct, but not responsive. What derogatory term is applied to African Americans who don't vote Democrat?
Uncle Tom.
Uncle Tom is correct. Count Olaf was the wicked uncle in which series of children's books?
Lemony Snicket. And
Time.
Okay. Keith Moon played Uncle Ernie in the 1975 film version of what rock opera by The Who?
Tommy.
Tommy's correct. Ivan Petrovich Voynitsky is the title character of which Anton Chekhov drama?
Time.
All time. Who was first used as a symbol for the United States during the War of 1812?
Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam is correct. Who reportedly murdered his nephews in 1483 in order to claim the throne of England?
Richard the Second.
Sorry, yeah. Milton Berle was called Mr. Television, and what other nickname?
Uncle
Time.
Who was the narrator of the collection of folk tales published by Joel Chandler Harris in 1881?
Uncle Remus.
Uncle Remus is correct. Whose most successful album, Double Wide, was produced by Kid Rock?
Time.
We'll call time. Okay, I got 1, 2, 3, 4. 40 points, chance to steal 60, Cherry Valley Springfield. Who murdered Hamlet's father?
Laertes.
So it was his uncle Claudius. Count Olaf was the wicked uncle in which series of children's books?
Defer.
Series of unfortunate events.
That's correct. Ivan Petrovich Voynitsky is the title character of which Anton Chekhov drama?
No, I'm not. No answer.
The answer is Uncle Vanya. Who reportedly murdered his nephews in 1483 in order to claim the throne of England?
Defer.
Richard III.
Richard III is correct. Milton Berle was called Mr. Television, and what other nickname? He was called Uncle Milty. And finally, whose most successful album, Double Wide, was produced by Kid Rock?
No idea.
Uncle Cracker.
Oh.
Can we take a sub here?
Adam, one in.
Tina, score.
What's that? Oh, yeah. Cooperstown,
Unless you want-
205, CVS,
If you
65.
want to go, right?
No, 215.
Oh,
Okay, Big Coupe.
We can all.
As Peyton Manning says in the commercial, epic comeback starts right. I know he gets killed. Lucky shot.
Well, you should say
You know, that may be the best pass.
They had, it was 155 to stop.
Cannot forget.
They got 4 of their own and 2 of ours.
oh, 2. Oh, I missed it.
They
Okay.
got 5 and 10 of ours.
Yeah, I see. That's where it's at. Thank you.
We're fooling everybody around.
Okay.
215.
215.65.
Yeah.
Are you ready, folks? Let us go into our last round. Nothing but toss-ups, so hands on buzzers, no consultation. Here we go. It was said by some critics that the psychologist wrote like a novelist and the novelist wrote like a psychologist. William, the psychologist, is best known for The Principles of Psychology, published in 1890. The novelist, Henry, is famous for Daisy Miller, The Turn of the Screw, and The Americans. What last name do these brothers share?
Cooperstown, Theodore.
Lincoln.
Not Lincoln. Can you take it, Cherry Valley Springfield? The answer is James. William and Henry James. An organism from this phylum called H. mephisto is the only multicellular organism ever found living more than a mile under the Earth's surface. Another member of this phylum was the first organism ever to have its genetic code completely sequenced. What is this phylum that consists of roundworms? The answer is nematodes. Nematode. One of the 2 landlocked countries on the continent, it lies on both the east and west banks of its eponymous river. Its indigenous language, Guarani, is an official language along with Spanish. Name this nation, 1/3 of whose population lives in the metropolitan area of its capital, Asunción. All time, the answer is Paraguay. On the horns of a dilemma is a phrase that means in between two bad or dangerous choices. There are three phrases that have the same meaning, but begin with the word between. Give.
CBS, T.
Between a rock and hard place?
That's good enough. Anita's was one of them. The others were between the devil and the deep blue sea, between Scylla and Charybdis. She earned her master's and PhD degrees in physics from Stanford, becoming one of the 8,000 Stanford applicants to be chosen by NASA in 1987. She and her longtime partner, Tam O'Shaughnessy, wrote a series of children's books together, encouraging young people to study science. Who was this youngest ever female astronaut, the first American woman in space?
CBS, Darth Vader.
And Sally Ride.
Dr. Sally Ride is correct. Ambrose tilings consist of two types of tiles, dart tiles and this shape. Although they are not usually parallelograms, their area can be computed by taking 1/2 the product of the diagonals, which are perpendicular to one another, though only one is necessarily a bisector. Name these shapes, also called deltoids, that have two pairs of congruent adjacent sides.
Cooperstown, Theodore.
Rhombus. Sorry, no. Can you take it? Cherry Valley Springfield.
Cherry Valley, Springfield, Darth Vader.
Parallelogram.
Or kites is what we're looking for. Kites.
Oh, like a kite.
There are at least 17 known examples of monumental stone heads sculpted from basalt boulders, thought to represent rulers of a culture that was the first in the Americas to gather in cities and towns. What was this culture based in southeastern Mexico that dominated the art of the first 2 centuries AD?
Cooperstown, Adam.
The Mayas?
It is not the Mayans, although that's a good guess.
CBS, Palpatine.
It is not the Incas or the Aztecs, it is the Olmecs.
I know it's starting,
After serving several years as a foreign correspondent, he turned to writing novels, adopting the naturalist style of Emile Zola, Stephen Crane, and Edith Wharton. He planned a trilogy titled The Epic of the Wheat, but was only able to finish The Octopus and the Pit before his untimely death at 32 from a ruptured appendix. Who was he? The answer is Frank Norris. Lithium nitride is an example of a super one of these compounds, a class of which containing an amino group is named for Hugo Schiff. They tend to hydrolyze triglycerides in a process called saponification, which is why they typically feel slippery and they typically taste bitter. What are these substances that, according to Bronsted-Lowry theory, accept protons? The answer is bases. In 1950, a plan was drawn up to enhance the economic and sociological status of countries in Asia and the South Pacific. Its original 7 members were all British Commonwealth states, but today 27 members, of which the United States is the only one outside the area, are members of what plan named for the capital of Sri Lanka where it was signed?
Cooperstown, Theodore.
Colombian League?
I'm sorry, no. Can you take it, Cherry Valley Springfield? It's called the Colombo Plan. You're moving in the right direction. Get there. Starting as the Blackjacks, they became the Quarrymen at the point where 3 of the 4 boys who would eventually...
Cooperstown, Adam.
The Beatles?
Thank you. Very good. Beatles is cool. They were also once called Johnny and the Moondogs. The Missouri River is the U.S.'s second longest river after the Mississippi. It runs through 6 states other than Missouri before joining the Mississippi north of St. Louis. Name 2 of those states.
Cooperstown, Theodore.
Missouri and
Sorry, no. As soon as you said Missouri, I'd already said 6 states other than Missouri. Okay, Cherry Valley, Springfield, 2 of those states.
CVS, Palpatine.
Idaho?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas. A phenomenon known as cantaloupe terrain has been found on one of the satellites of this planet, the only planet in the solar system other than Earth whose storms have observed endings. It's the location of the great dark spot.
Cooperstown, Adam.
Jupiter. I'm sorry, no. What is this most remote planet of our solar system?
CVS, Java.
You ready?
Yep. 2. Expansionists had used the Expansionists had used the slogan 54-40 or fight, but the eventual settlement achieved by diplomacy fixed the border at 49 degrees. The line in question was the border between Canada and what other territory? What territory? What U.S. territory?
Cooperstown, Theodore.
Alaska.
Sorry, no. You take it to Fair Valley Spring.
CVS, Palpatine.
Louisiana Purchase?
No, the Oregon Territory. The Latin preposition ad means to. It's used in several phrases in common use in English, such as ad hoc and ad nauseam. To practitioners of debate, what sort of argument designated by a 2-word Latin phrase beginning with ad is one that involves,
CVS, Palpatine.
Ad lib?
I'll finish it, is one that involves a personal attack on one's opponent. The answer is ad hominem, which literally means to the man.
All right.
That's it. Next score, please, Steve.
I have Cooperstown 240, CVS 95. Yep.